Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Secondary Heroes podcast. We're continuing our watch of Marvel's What If. It's time for episode 7. What if Thor were an only child? This is your host, Trevor, and joining me as usual is...
Hey guys, it's Prague.
Thunderbolts and lightning, very, very frightening. This is DeLorean Wolfgang.
And we have a special guest joining us this week.
Hi, I'm Erica, and I'm here for all the Harry Potter-ness. But I also wanted to do a quick shout out that it is Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. So tell all the fabulous women in your lives that they need to go look up the symptoms and talk to their fellow loved females. And it's the silent, deadly killer of women, but we're not going to let that bring us down because this is a good episode.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being on here with us this week. Erica is actually a close personal friend of mine, and I very much appreciate you bringing your expertise of Harry Potter for the second half of our show.
Yeah,
I'm going to try.
Yeah.
Right. So
Cool.
If you are new, we're going to talk about the current episode of What If at the first half, and then we're going to do What If of a different fandom, and it's going to be Harry Potter this week. So first we're talking Thor, and then we'll talk Harry Potter. So let's get to it.
Nice. So spoiler-free reactions to this episode. Now, Erica, you told us before the show that you didn't get to watch this episode.
No,
So
it's going to look pretty right now.
it's okay. It was so I'll go first then because it was all right. It was I don't know if we needed this episode, but it was fun. I guess it was the last two episodes were kind of like downers, as far as episodes go for like bleak endings. So it was a nice change of pace to get maybe one that was a little more upbeat. It kind of felt like the episode with T'Challa being Star-Lord. Like it had that same kind of vibe, but not quite as good or important, meaningful. I don't know. But it was fine. It didn't do much for me. A few moments where I laughed. But it wasn't the worst thing ever. It was entertaining for half an hour, I guess. So that's my review.
I like that, like, you could definitely tell our personalities with this show so far. Like, I actually very much enjoyed this one. I thought this was so much fun. I enjoyed it. I know that it wasn't the best one. It definitely wasn't the best one, but you know what?
I bet a lot of people loved it.
Yeah. But it was fun. We got to see
Thor.
We got to see Thor as, a fun guy. And I mean, throughout the episode, like he still is able to show his strength, but he's also able to show that he's still fairly diplomatic in a way. So it's still kind of cool. Like I know that he's not the most diplomatic god out there, I guess you could say. But man, I actually had a lot of fun with this, and there were times where I actually laughed out loud. Yeah. I'll leave it at that. Trevor?
So I think I'm more on Alex's side of things. I think this was really fun. Like, I'm starting to rank the episodes because we're 7 episodes in, and still T'Challa Star-Lord's number 1. And then I wanted to put Doctor Strange too, but I feel like I put Zombies as 2, and this is 3, and Doctor Strange is 4.
Okay.
Nice. All right.
It's just, I liked all the Easter eggs of it. I liked it was really Marvel heavy of all the different, like, kind of shout outs and connections. It got slow right in the middle when we had the whole fight sequence. And then I think the end is what really got me, because you said it wasn't as bleak. This one might have been the most bleak, surprisingly, just because of that ending.
Maybe.
Really?
Yeah, I can see that. All right. Sure. Okay.
We'll definitely have to go over that.
Yeah,
because
we won't
I can't
spoil that
really
yet.
remember. I can't remember what was the ending to make it so bleak.
Not much.
Oh my goodness.
But yeah.
Oh, and I feel bad, Erica, that you haven't seen it, so you can't really. I mean, unless you want to say something, is Thor a character that you enjoy?
I mean, Thor's cool, but I like Loki better. So if this episode is anti-Loki, then I don't even want to watch it.
No,
Loki is
Loki.
He's in there
spoil
too.
it after.
We'll spoil it after. But
All right. Now I'm excited.
Yeah. So before we get into the spoiler portion, let's talk about some social medias and where you can listen. So
where?
Oh yeah. Hey Prague,
Yeah,
let me let you know now that we're about 150 episodes in.
Please.
You can check us out over on crossthestreamsmedia.com for all of our episodes. That's all of our episodes, our social medias, and if you don't want to go to crossthestreamsmedia.com, you can go to all of our social medias and YouTube at Secondary Heroes everywhere. And while you're over on YouTube, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button because that's always a good thing for us. I'm done begging because, well, it actually worked. So maybe I should start begging again. But like I said, you can check all of our episodes out at crossthestreamsmedia.com. And we're on I'm pretty sure every platform for podcasts, being Spotify, iTunes, you name it, we're there. So make sure to check us out. I actually tried it on my Google Play. I don't know if you guys have a Google Play. I said, hey, Google, play Secondary Heroes. Okay, playing Secondary Heroes Zombies. And it played the episode. And I'm like, this is awesome. So that was really cool. Anyways, you can try that at home as well. And yeah, just keep in mind, everybody, this is all free for you and priceless to us. So enjoy.
Now, if we watch on YouTube, does that mean that we get to stare at our pretty faces for the hour?
Yes, exactly. Good point.
That's why YouTube's our most popular outlet.
It really is, dude. Oh, our numbers are skyrocketing on there. It's so good. And when I say skyrocketing, thanks, Erica.
Yes.
I get that a lot.
Make sure you like those YouTube videos. That does help the algorithm. It's very important.
Algorithm. What was it?
Algorithm.
From Space Jam. A New Legacy.
You referenced that like I don't know
because it's so much fun. It's so much fun to reference it because it drives you guys nuts. And you guys reference Dark every week, and Prague always references Wizard of Oz. So I've got to have some fun stuff to reference too. So eat some Space Jam, boys.
That's fine.
Anyways,
he pays attention to that, but doesn't know that you guys reference Harry Potter ever.
No, I don't catch any of that stuff.
It's just
You're a hairy wizard. Ooh, mosquito. Yeah, you're a hairy wizard. So that's all I know.
Let's talk this.
It's spoiler time.
Spoilers.
The context of this episode is that Thor's an only child. So how does that happen? It's because Odin doesn't adopt Loki, so Loki goes into being a frost giant, and we actually get to see Loki as a frost giant in this episode. Yes, that's a definite standout.
Cool.
It's cool to see him as an avatar.
That's what he looks like. Yeah,
he looks like an avatar with blue horns.
Like a Navi, yeah. Loki, a little bit. All right. Anyways, so that's what the what if is, in essence.
Which was fun because I feel like this was the first one that actually, at least, like really went into the story of why this is a what if. I feel like all the other ones just kind of like jump right in, and it's like, okay, guess what the what if is here.
Yeah, I feel like this did a good job of that, which I appreciated. It's definitely intriguing to see what having a sibling would do to your life. Like, how would that change you? How would not fighting all the time with this person, how would that change your personality? It seemed like Loki put him in check a lot because now he's unchecked and he's this party frat boy all the time, just destroying planets with his big parties. So
was that what was happening? He was destroying the planets every time he would party until it just would destroy.
So he was the way I read it. I could be wrong, but it seemed like he was very coy about what the results were of his parties. But he came there in the wake of destroying them. So
yeah, exactly. Okay, so maybe that's what it is. Because I saw the same thing. I was like, okay, so
he's just reckless.
Yeah, he's being reckless. Well, and all of his buddies are all reckless too.
Sure.
So
of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and the frat boy thing was silly, but you know what? It worked. It totally
works
worked.
for Thor. Sure. Yeah, it definitely works.
That's
for
who Thor is.
Yeah, that's pretty much who he is. Yeah, if he wasn't, checked. But anyways, it was that aspect was good.
And when at the very beginning where we're watching him right next to Odin as Odin's falling asleep, my thought is he's waiting for Odin to die so he could take over and he's going to be some a-hole ruler. Like that's what I'm thinking because the way he looks in that scene is he looks like Prince Charming from Shrek.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Where he's just pretty much like bored out of his mind and like I'm prettier than everybody else type of thing. You know what I mean?
No,
Until
I
he
can't
finally
unsee that.
falls.
Okay.
Right. That's I was sitting there thinking, oh no, he's gonna be a real a-hole in this episode.
Right.
Turns out, oh, he's a real fun guy.
Yeah. So that's what happened. So yeah, do anybody have any highlights, lowlights, favorite scenes? What worked for you? What didn't?
I actually liked how it ended. Now that I'm thinking back.
Now that you remember it?
Where the
Do we want to go to the ending?
Why not?
Apparently Alex does.
Well, no, that's where
Drink
I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that like Captain Marvel did kind of see that he's still like a guy who's being ruled over by his parents and have very strict parents type of thing. And she's like, you know what? Hey, no, you're cool, man. Well, I'm looking out for you. Because they had that big battle. And I mean, who do you guys actually think that Thor would have lost that battle? I know you're rolling your eyes, Trevor, but was there
not
any
the end? But
I know that's what I was seeing the whole time. I'm like, wait, I thought we were going to talk about the end of the episode.
All right, well then you guys go first.
It's because Alex doesn't remember the end.
Okay, so the ending, just to catch everybody up. The main idea is that the Watcher actually is describing what happened, and he's like, oh, it looks like you can have happy endings because Thor is going to end up with Jane, and it looks like they're going to wrap this up in a neat little bow. And then he's like, oh, wait, what's that? And so Ultron is actually Infinity Ultron, and he comes through a portal as Vision with all 6 Infinity Stones. Just because Thor is this party Thor. It changed the entire complexion of everything. That's why it's so dark.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yep.
Never
It was
mind.
pretty funny. It was a funny like bait and switch. Like, oh wow, we're gonna get a happy ending. This is fantastic. And then
sorry, go ahead, Frog. I'm sorry.
That was it.
So the interesting thing is, I have a feeling that Ultron, he got all the stones when he went to Asgard. I don't know if you guys were looking in the background, but the Infinity Gauntlet was sitting in the background in Asgard with all the stones in it, as Thor and his mom are walking by it.
That's the fake one, from Ragnarok when Hela's walking through and she flicks it over and says fake. It's the same thing.
Yeah, sorry. But good. That was good.
Try to
That's
remember these shows, these movies, these 20 years
I'm surprised
of
you
movies
even
here.
remembered that. That was great. I mean, yeah.
Good
job.
Lord. Maybe I should just, you know what, Erica, why don't we have our own side conversation? Because I don't think I even watched this episode.
No, you didn't. Well, I think it's
Or at least the first half of it you watched.
Yeah, that's the party
the
part.
fun parts.
The fun parts.
The me parts.
It's important to note to people who are like, "What's going on?" If they haven't watched the episode for some reason, they're listening to us right now. Is that Shield contacted Captain Marvel? That's why she's there. She was there to take out the threat. They assumed that Thor was a threat, and that's why she was fighting him. And basically, Jane called his mommy to come and pick him up. So that was fun. I enjoyed that.
Well, we have that like 80s comedy thing where they have to clean up before the parents get home. Yeah. Just cleaning up the whole
entire planet.
Clean up the planet. Hurry up. Pick up Stonehenge.
Well, here's what I didn't like. My biggest gripe of the episode was Darcy. I couldn't stand Darcy. It was almost like they were forcing her to have jokes, and her jokes, it was almost like having a 6-year-old in the room. You know what I mean? Like she was constantly just making these dumb little like side jokes that were like, they didn't work. They didn't fit.
I'll say
I don't know how you
guys of her jokes did not work, but there were a couple that did make me laugh out loud. But that was it. Like the rest of the time, it was too much. And I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that we didn't get to actually see her. Like we didn't actually get to see Kat like perform that performance. And I think that a lot of her comedy comes from her physical performance of things. And it just didn't come off right in voice acting for me. it was the same thing for you. I felt like it was just like, here's another one-liner, here's another one-liner, and it's like, oh my god,
Right.
now you're still doing the same one-liner. Like, let's stop. It's getting
Right.
annoying.
Oh, and it was super annoying. And I totally agree what you're saying. Like, maybe it would have hit better if she was on screen, like, as her physical person. But because it wasn't, and it was drawn, it was almost like they had to up her character
Yes.
to
Yeah,
like
they
a
upped it.
whole nother level. And it like, there was no need to do it. Like, keep her at the same level keel that she's always been at, and I'm okay with that. That I can get behind. But this was just like having a little kid. Why? Oh, where are we going? What's that? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? It was that type of jokes. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
just that's not fun for me. Show me
get you.
more Thor party in Vegas with Loki.
Okay. Yeah, I did enjoy that part. I enjoyed them partying together. That was fun.
I love that
Seeing
they
them
go to
hang out.
Vegas.
It's bro
They got an
friends.
entire
Yeah.
galaxy of planets, and they go to Vegas.
They figured it out. They knew where the party spot was. So, anyways, that was fun.
Did you guys have any gripes?
I mean, I would
I
say
thought-
that was probably my main gripe. Honestly.
I just
What about you?
thought the fight between Thor and Captain
Oh
Marvel
yeah, in the
was
fight.
it was so DC that I couldn't care. Like, this is
Oh,
literally
yeah.
the problem with the DC universe is that
Yeah, it
Captain
felt very
Marvel and
DC,
Thor
right?
couldn't injure each other. They're just slamming each other into the earth.
That's all it was.
and
It was
they
like,
get up.
let me punch you to this state, and let me punch
Yeah,
you
I'll
to this
punch you
country.
across the world.
Oh,
Now you're completely in a
okay.
different continent. Oh, that's oh my god.
That was probably one of the parts that I laughed the hardest is Captain Marvel punching Thor, and as he's flying from France to like the United Kingdom or something, he's going, oh, 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 oh. That was so funny to me. I don't know why. It just caught me right in the tickle bone.
Yeah, there's some fun moments for sure.
It
That was
just felt like
awesome.
the fight sequence was a waste of time. Like in Doctor Strange, you know when they're showing Rachel McAdams die a whole bunch over and over again? That's how
Yes.
the fight sequence felt. Like they could have cut it short. I get the gist of what's going on.
Right. We get the idea. You don't need to show us over and over the same thing. Exactly.
But I think I liked, well, yes, I agree with that. But I think I liked the fact that like they kept fighting each other and learning, well, I'm not going to be able to do anything to him and he's not going to be able to do anything to me. And that's where they had to come up with, or that's luckily enough, the mom popped up because I don't
Well,
think
Captain Marvel keep thinking that she had an extra gear to go to.
Yeah, but
That was a
True.
little annoying.
but Thor is a god. That's the thing. If she would have gone to the next level and she would have kept going to the next level because she kept saying, "Oh yeah, I'm only using
I'm holding
partial
back.
Yeah, I'm holding my back." So if she was to go full force power, who knows? Maybe she would have destroyed the planet, and then we all go, "Oh, Captain
Right.
Marvel's actually the bad guy here."
Yeah, that would have been more interesting.
That would have been a
But-
better storyline.
We do it every week, guys.
I
know.
We come up with
every
better
week.
stories every week.
Hire
Come
us,
to us.
Disney. We're here.
Dude, just one
Anyways.
sit-down meeting. That's all we need is one.
I think the other thing that was kind of weird for me, not like a bad thing necessarily, but like it definitely felt more like a Robot Chicken kind of episode. You had a lot of these characters that like, yeah, I get they were in all of the Thor movies, but like he probably would have never hung out or met a lot of these people if it weren't for the events of the original timeline. So it's kind of like, why are all these other people here? So I was like, all right, this is a lot. It was a lot of cameos in this episode.
Like having Jeff Goldblum in there and then
Jeff
Korg.
Goldblum,
Yeah.
I was like, all right. I mean,
Korg, yeah.
doesn't make any sense.
It
Like the
didn't
whole
make any
Guardians
sense.
crew, I could see that just because that's
Sure.
how the Guardians are.
It just
Yeah.
didn't make sense. I was like, all right, well, that's the way that is, I
Jeff
guess. It was fun.
Goldblum, not so much. Jeff Goldblum, not so much. I thought Howard the Duck as well. I thought that was a little shoehorned in. And did you guys notice that it was Seth
Random.
Green? Seth Green.
I
was
noticed at the start because I was looking at the cast and I'm like, okay, they have all these people, and then it said Seth Green. I'm
Huh.
like, wait, who
I
is?
didn't see that
he?
part. Interesting. All right.
Right.
Here's Howard the Duck.
This was the first episode that I actually read all the beginning credits too, because I was
Well, good
Like,
for
I
you.
don't-
We asked you
I
to.
know.
So I'm glad.
I never do it. I
Yes.
never do it. You know why? Because I always, or I used to always hit skip, which I think I'm going to go back to hitting skip intro because It's just the same crap. I don't need to.
Well, it's the same thing, but just seeing that Chris Hemsworth is in it and seeing everybody but Brie Larson is pretty much reprising the role in this particular episode.
It's interesting. So you get to see that kind of stuff.
Now, do you guys think that Brie Larson didn't come back for any specific reason?
I don't know.
She's too big time, just like Chris Evans and Robert Downey Jr. She wants to be classified in that big time realm.
Which is weird because I know that there was a lot.
Erica's like, wait, I think Erica might have something to say about that.
Oh, did you?
Well, I am just not a Captain Marvel fan to begin with. And I mean, she did what? A movie and a half? And she wants to be like Robert Downey Jr. Really?
Right.
I mean, but
I'm a hater though, so
we're speculating. We don't know.
It is speculation, but
yeah.
But I'm just saying, I'm just not a fan.
Yeah.
So.
Right. Well,
But we
she
don't
hasn't
know if that
done.
was the reason. But
She hasn't
it seems
done
like a
much,
plan.
but like Buick commercials. So I'm not expecting a whole lot out of her.
it's just for voice acting. It doesn't take that much work. You can literally do it almost anywhere and send your clips in. They have people doing voice acting all during the pandemic. It's super easy.
Yeah, and your PJs at home, like it doesn't take much.
Yeah. Doesn't take much at all.
actually just picked up a voice acting gig the other day.
Well, there you go.
They sent me the script. I'm very excited. So yeah. Hey, go me.
Give us a little preview right now. I want to hear your
I was gonna say, do we get to make jokes about what we think he's actually doing voiceover for?
No. Because I want to promote the show and make it big. So
All right,
never
mind.
I can move on from this piddly little podcast that I'm on.
And now we get to make fun of him, right?
Look down on the peons. No.
This is what
He's going to Brie Larson us. We're going to have to bring in somebody else to
Yeah,
be
we
Alex.
That was solid. Nice one. Nice one. Well, cool.
Right,
Should we get back into the show?
Yes, we probably should. All right, let me think. So I do enjoy Loki. I think that was probably my favorite part of the episode for me, was seeing him finally as a frost giant. We saw him briefly, I think, in Loki the series, in one of the little flash thingies for the variants. But this, we actually get to see him, like see what he's like with his people, and yeah, it was really fun. It was cool to see him look like that.
I think this is my favorite Loki. This one might be. He's a partier. He's having fun. He enjoys Thor still. Thor is still his brother, but from another mother. I mean,
right.
He and his look alone makes him look amazing. He looks so good as an Avatar character. Or an ice giant. Let me just say ice giant. God, I'm sorry. But he looks good. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I think he did a solid job. It was fun.
Yeah, fun, funny. I liked it. And I also thought it was funny how Odin just like gave him back to the ice giants and they're all happy about it. Like, oh, cool. Thanks for giving us back.
But look what that did. Because he did that, now there's no wars between the two and like they're friends. It's kind of I like that.
It was fun.
I like seeing the kindness and what kind of world we would have for just that little bit of kindness. Because we saw what happened whenever Loki stays with Odin. There's wars forever.
All right.
So yeah, the little bit of kindness can go a long way.
And thinking back to the whole idea of it having a dark ending, like I almost wish that maybe instead of drawing out the whole conflict with Captain Marvel, like what if Ultron came in like 3/4 of the way through? So like at least you had that third act to like just go, oh my gosh, like
yeah, because you have to flash to Tony and Bruce creating Ultron and
or something,
and not having Thor there. There's some reason that he goes unchecked and unbridled.
Well, the only thing I can think of is the moment where Thor uses his hammer to, essentially create or wake up the, Ultron and create Vision.
Vision.
Pretty much. So there's something in that probably that has to do with it. Like maybe, I don't know, maybe Vision didn't really become Vision and killed the Vision part in the process, and he
because
melded.
Ultron's trying to make Vision's body, and he gets Vision's body. So if Vision never Vision never has its own thing to fight Ultron at that level.
So something with Thor not being there, part of the crew.
Like
Messed it
I think it's fun just because a lot of people didn't like that Ultron's just gone in one movie because he's such a major adversary in the comics. And so to show that like kind of that capability that he gets all 6 Infinity Stones and there's no need for Thanos, you have your threat that you created yourself.
Yep. Pretty much.
Well, that's a good look too.
He did have a good look, but he looked like someone else though. He looked like, God, I want to say there was like that X-Men character or something. I don't know. I'm trying to look it up right now. But yeah.
Now I'm gonna go through my encyclopedia in my head.
He did look like an X-Men character though. I don't know. The way that they designed him, he looked like that. Anyways, yeah. So Ultron. What was I gonna say about Ultron now? Other than that,
that's fun. Like just say the word Ultron.
Just say the Ultron.
Thought complete.
There we go. Ultron.
On me.
But I mean, can Ultron defeat, or what if Ultron, yeah, like you said, came in 3/4 of the show rather than Thor's mom popping up in between Thor and Captain Marvel, what if Ultron popped up in between there? That would be really, really fun.
Yeah, and then at that point, maybe Captain Marvel has to use all of her power and destroys Earth.
Oh, man.
Wow. It could have been a really interesting last third act of the episode.
Here's something that
the remake of Cleaning Up After when your parents are gone and you throw a party at their house.
Right.
That's what they chose for that act.
Yeah. It's funny, but I don't know. Not as interesting to me.
I'm trying to... man. Okay, so Ultron is not an organic. He is a robot.
Correct.
For some reason, I don't know why I'm like getting hung up on this, but for some reason I thought the stones worked with organisms like a human or like an alien, but not like a robot. But then again, here's Vision, who's got a Mind Stone in his forehead.
I think
so never mind.
Vision is a synthetic organ. Like there's still something to Vision. He's not a purely robot. And again, Ultron's using Vision's body because Ultron's the one who had Vision's body made.
Huh. Okay.
And it's the whole idea of soul.
Episodes ago. Yeah, I have a hard time with anything that has to do with Ultron because I always think of Robert California, and I don't like Robert California.
God. Okay.
Every time. I'm so glad that Ultron didn't talk in this episode because
then you would have.
Oh, I would have been like, great, that just ruined it for me.
All right.
But do you think that this could be a continuation? Do you guys think that we could see more from this perspective because it was so open
so, at this point? Maybe they'll do
it's
like
not
a
that
season.
Open. The timeline. This is a disaster timeline. All they're showing is different disaster timelines.
Right.
That's true.
Outside of the T'Challa one, they've all been pretty much disasters.
You know what? And I think that's the thing that we didn't remember last week, how we were talking about the Black Panther episode and how we were like, it was just boring. It's because there was no stakes. It wasn't like a universe ripping apart. It wasn't like things crumbling down. It was just a dude wanting to be king of some other place. It wasn't anything bigger than that.
Right.
Yeah, every other one has been really like either earth shattering or universe collapsing.
Well, they have to make everyone a disaster because otherwise then people would look at a good timeline and be like, yeah, why didn't you do that in the first place?
Exactly.
They make their own franchise horrible.
I'm thinking that right now. Why didn't we do half of these shows?
I don't know. But to go back to Ultron real quick, it wouldn't have been James Spader's voice anyways. It would have been Paul Bettany's, most likely, if he was taking over Vision's body to be used with the suit over him. So there you go. An evil Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
Yes.
Him and Knight's Tale. I can't get over it. He's so good.
That's an old reference.
That is. I like that movie.
That was the first time I ever saw the guy, and I was like, wow, this guy is an excellent actor.
He's an actor.
He's an actor. Oh,
Yeah.
thank you.
Well, that's all I got on the episode. I don't really got much else to say.
So I had
fun.
a couple
It was a fun episode.
things.
So yeah, go ahead.
Coulson says that
Coulson was in
the
this, I
party
forgot.
atmosphere is spreading. Like that's literally the negative. Like they have red heat maps on the entire globe that the
That's
party
true,
atmosphere
yes.
is spreading. That's the threat to the Earth. It
a
seemed like
threat.
it was overkill to call Captain Marvel because quote the party atmosphere is spreading.
Too many packages.
The Jersey Shore is spreading to each coast.
This is a party pooper. That Captain Marvel.
Oh,
Party
jeez.
You
pooper.
guys-
And then there was a point. Well, I did like that. So you know how Natalie Portman was totally done with Marvel, and now she's gonna be in the new Thor. So all the way that she's even gonna lend her voice to be in the What If series. I thought it was fun. It's a nice.
I noticed that too. I was
180.
like, all right, okay.
Wait, so she actually did voice that character?
Yeah, she did.
That's why you watch the intro.
Yeah, I can't read them all too fast. Very dumb person.
Oh, Alex.
And then probably the
Oh.
joke that I laughed the most at was when Jane says to Thor when she first meet him, "You're Thor like the Norse god," and he says, "I don't know anything about horse gods." I don't know. That just made me laugh so much.
See, that's the thing. It's like so fun. This was a good episode. It was fun. It was
a fun
finally something
episode.
that was so lighthearted that didn't have any like back end sadness behind it. You know what I mean? Like
I
things
know. Yeah,
like
I
with
guess.
the zombie episode, you had all these funny characters trying to be funny, but at the same time, it's like, oh, but my entire family's dead. Oh, and everybody else's entire family's dead.
Isn't that
and we're kinda-
awesome?
Yeah, hey,
fun.
let's make another joke. You know what I mean? And
I
now
get it.
this one's
I
like
know.
actually like we've got jokes and you can
Jokes
just
for days.
you can enjoy these.
Yeah, it was.
And
It
there's
was a
the
neat
Unicorn Planet date where even the
That's
waiters
true.
are unicorns, and I need that
One's
as
unicorn.
a show.
My Little Pony, man, come on, just turn that on.
This is the duck.
Oh,
yeah.
That's Darcy. So Darcy and Darcy and Howard the Duck got married in Vegas. For those who didn't watch the episode, yeah, it was weird.
there was a
It was like a whole montage.
montage.
Oh, what an episode
But it
So
was
that's episode 7.
that was.
good one, Marvel. I dig it. Keep that up.
It was fun.
And then speaking of party poopers,
Uh-oh.
there's no one quite like Harry Potter. So now
This is where I turn off my microphone and Erica, please.
No, wait a second. You must know some things about the Harry Potter universe. You've not seen a single film or anything. Is that what you're saying, Alex?
I know a little bit. I know that they've got a flying car that's not a DeLorean. Lame.
that's true.
Of
They-
all
they
things
go
to
to a
reference
train
out of
station.
Harry Potter, he goes
Yeah.
for the flying car.
Hey, these are the things that pop into my head right now. Bam, bam, bam.
Okay.
Harry
When he
Potter.
told me, he's like, I haven't watched a movie in 10 years.
Yes, probably no. I said more than 10 years. Because Stacy and I watched those movies when we were working on the cruise ships. We watched from the one all the way out. So yeah, it's been a very long time since I've seen any of them. And no, I didn't read the books. Surprise!
I'm not surprised, actually. But
Okay.
So,
yeah, all right.
what if of the Harry Potter universe? I think it starts with one big kind of what if that's the easiest idea is just because this is the Chosen One storyline. So what if you switch out the Chosen One for anybody else? There's the obvious one. What if Neville is
Neville.
picked instead
Neville,
of Harry?
of course.
For sure. What if Voldemort goes after Neville? But Neville's parents were both Auroras, so could they have been better at protecting him?
Ah, true. Would they if they had not been, cursed already? Right.
Then dead. Yeah. Yep.
Or
Yeah,
does it play out
maybe.
exactly the same because they still get cursed the same way and now because Voldemort still wanted to kill both parents regardless.
True. Look at Alex is trying to what are these words you're saying?
What are these? What are these?
I like how the roles have reversed here from the first part of the episode.
It's fun.
to the
It's a
second
good
part.
transition.
But yeah, that is a good point. Would it be the same story almost? Because they have a lot of similar traits, the two characters, about nobility. I mean, they're in the same house for a reason,
True.
bravery and standing up to your friends and
Yeah, but Neville is not as whiny and pouty as Harry can be.
True.
Sorry.
No, you're right. Yes.
I feel like he'd be a much more uplifting hero than Harry was.
Yeah, I would say so. Actually, that's a good point. I feel like Neville is more like the kind of like your goofy, fun friend, but also kind of nerdy, weird. Whereas Harry is kind of almost too serious sometimes and too moody,
sure.
which makes sense. I mean, his parents were killed and everything. He lived with those
It's the upbringing. It's
The upbringing.
having the
Right.
Dursleys versus having your grandmother. Like his Neville's grandmother is
your
super like
grandma's boy.
commanding and stuff,
Grandma's
and
boy.
so that's why he's
So
kind of
fun.
like so shy and all that.
So that actually leads me to one of my favorite what ifs.
Yeah.
What if Harry?
Do you mind if I pause you for a second? I feel like we need to state like that you are like kind of a bit of an expert here. You I feel like we didn't go over any of your background. We just jumped right into this.
Should we go
Okay.
over? Let's do it.
Give the folks
Background
a little
check.
bit of a background on you and why they should care that you know a lot about Harry Potter.
Well, other than the fact that I'm awesome, but I mean, I would not call myself an expert in any way, shape, or fan. I'm just a fun fan. I am, totally House Slytherin all the way. Sorry, guys,
Yes.
but
I don't know what it means. Sounds like a snaky snake.
It is. You're right.
oh, anywho, the funny thing was when I got the text message of like, oh, Erica, I know you're a Harry Potter fan. You should come do my podcast. I was like, oh, okay, yeah. Like I am a Harry Potter fan. But what's the premise? And he goes, oh, well, you've seen like What If from Marvel Universe. And I was like, yeah, I've seen a couple episodes. I think it's really fun. He goes, well, we're doing What If Harry Potter style. And I was like, shut the front door. And he was like, yeah, why do you say that? And I said, well, I've been re-listening to the audiobooks lately and I wanted to rewatch all the movies. So my friend and I, Sunday night, turned on movie 1. And as the main credits are rolling, I turn to my friend and I say, what if? And then he and I just went on this super long list of what ifs about Harry Potter. And I mean, like we got into some really weird ones. And then it's just like, it just like went off and like nothing about it. And then so when Alex texted me, I was like, this is serendipitous. So
our universe is very small, I guess.
Great minds think alike.
Exactly. But yeah, I thought that was pretty fun. It was a good story. Just, who's thinking of this stuff at the same time we are? Like, it's so weird. But I guess there's more than just us,
That
guys.
is kind of weird, but very nice story. All right, so you have a what if you just were saying. Sorry.
Okay, yes, back to my what if. So we were talking about like if Neville had obviously been the chosen one, which technically he was actually, but anyways, won't get into that. I was thinking, well, what if Harry had grown up in a loving household? What if like his aunt and uncle actually liked him and he didn't live in a cupboard? I mean, half the time he has mommy and daddy issues. So what if he didn't have mommy and daddy issues? Would he grow up so haty and pouty and
angry that change too? Like, would he want the revenge as much? I mean, he probably would, but would it be built with so much, I don't know, hatred and spite?
But didn't that revenge and all that stuff kind of come up after he went to Hogwarts? Like, he really didn't have that hate in his heart at all when he was a little kid before Hogwarts. Like
he didn't know the story.
Well, no, yeah, exactly. He didn't have it towards Voldemort because he didn't know who that person was. But he definitely was not happy living with the Dursleys. They were awful to him. So he had spite in his heart because of that.
He may not have, but he also, at the same time, didn't show it. He was still like a loving child. He was still a very good kid. Like he was it's not like he was lashing out at anybody. Like he was
a little
little bit, but yeah, okay.
Maybe. Okay. Never mind. Please continue your conversation. I'm just gonna kick back.
But it is interesting 'cause that's a different personality. What would that type of hero be like? Would you take up the mantle of the chosen one? Would you accept that responsibility?
Yeah, or he said, this is just not worth my life. I'm moving on.
Right, like I'm pretty happy. I'm okay. Moved on. I don't know. Yeah, because I feel like there's like a real. I think that what makes it so captivating is that like his life was so bad that he gets to go into this magical world and learn all these spells and be like this person that everyone loves and accepts and like is this hero already for nothing, for doing nothing. Like that would be so different than if he had already came from a loving household and had a happy life. So
Well, and if he had a happy life, would he even
want to
like
go.
want to go? Yeah.
Right. Sure. It could be like, like the Dursleys and just want to live a normal life there in Surrey. I don't know.
Oh, Alex.
Also, what if his parents aren't killed? So that's
Another one I was kind of thinking of. I didn't
because
really, tell
does
me.
does he become a prick like his dad? Because James Potter is like the ultimate
is
prick.
kinda
Does
what I was
Harry
thinking.
become the same
Totally.
person?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Was he going to be like his dad? So that is interesting because my what if is similar to that thread, but a totally different what if altogether. So my what if is what if Dumbledore never chose Tom Riddle to come to the academy? What if he never had him and he just ended up being just some regular annoying kid that like practiced dark arts on his own but didn't really know what he was doing, so he just got into trouble and died early, right? Like a junkie almost. So he never went to Hogwarts and never killed Harry's parents. So Harry goes to Hogwarts and finds out that Snape had a crush on his mother, or maybe doesn't know that, but Snape like kind of puts him under his wing to kind of get back at his dad. Like what would
Well,
that?
and at that point, he probably totally would have been put in Slytherin because Slytherin would have had such a bad name.
Yeah, and maybe he would be the one that'd be curious about Horcruxes for some reason. I don't know what the reason would be, but maybe he would go after some other kind of dark arts for various reasons. I don't know. I just thought that was interesting if his parents weren't killed, but also if Voldemort never really existed in his form, like he was always just Tom Riddle. That to me is interesting.
Although I feel like somebody like Tom Riddle would find a way to be himself. And I mean, obviously we know that there are schools, so maybe for some reason they recognized and he didn't go to Hogwarts, but he went to a different school.
Yeah, maybe some other school took him in. Like some other wizard came across the pond and was like, we sensed you.
Yes.
Yeah, Tom Riddle does have a lot of midichlorians, so.
Oh,
Star Wars! I got that reference.
Right.
I feel like Steve Rogers right now.
Yeah, maybe Karkaroff comes over and takes him. That'd be interesting.
But Pog, to your point, not only does Severus have a crush, what if Lily picks Severus?
Yeah, that's even better. What if it's like a product of Snape and Lily?
Oh my goodness, my fanfic head just went somewhere. I might be. So you guys carry on without me.
Are you gonna do fan art?
It's getting spicy.
Oh
my goodness.
Draw some fan art of Snape.
Ooh. You have no idea that when they. Ooh. Anyways,
I have no idea what you're going on about right now.
Now we know what the fan noise was earlier.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
pre-recording, people. Pre-recording.
Let's go with that. What if? What would that be like? Do we think?
Well, Snape would be happy.
Yeah, I think he wouldn't be. Maybe he wouldn't be in Slytherin. Maybe he'd be like a Hufflepuff because he's kind of dorky.
He is.
So maybe
Sorry, it's all Hufflepuffs out there.
I'm a Hufflepuff.
Yeah, but you just don't want to be dorky. Maybe they don't want to be dorky.
I don't know. Anyways, I just think that'd be kind of fun to see him in Hufflepuff, and she'd be Gryffindor.
I don't know. Can you picture Snape happy though?
I don't know.
Well, he's just an emo kid, so he'll grow out of that phase eventually.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he could. He'd be like the I don't know, like a beatnik kind of guy or something. You know, doing beat poetry somewhere.
I'd say he's totally gonna write poetry. He totally would.
Oh yeah, totally. He'd be the writer of spells instead of potions. They'd be all
Wait a
flowery.
Whoa, man.
Whoa, oh,
Whoa,
man.
man.
Love that movie. Anyways.
Okay.
But does it
Okay,
change
what
their
if-
child? Like how much? Like how different would their child be? Like, is it still prophesized? Like even because
Yeah, because we would still probably have a Voldemort.
But does the prophecy come from the parent, like the mother, or does it come from the father? Where does the prophecy end up coming from?
Do we know when that prophecy was actually recorded? I can't remember.
I thought it was recorded right, like because it's
Probably the night of the birth.
yeah,
No, the night.
or was it 2 weeks before? It's by the deviation teacher, right?
Yeah, Trelawney.
Yeah, Trelawney.
So I don't know. It's a good question. It's a good Potter question for us
Because
fans out there.
Because that would tell, if depending on when that prophecy was recorded,
Right.
who knows what might have been.
Hmm.
Chicken before the egg.
Right. Chicken before the egg. I don't know. And would it still be Neville as well?
You say everything is exactly the same, and it's just like they still conceive Harry at the same time, so he's still born at the same time.
Right. Right.
And so it's still because Severus and James can switch out their magical lineage. Lily's the one who's the mudblood anyway.
Right.
The what?
Oh.
Mudbloods.
Oh.
Or also known as a nomad in America.
I
Alex.
thought you said mud butt, and I'm like,
Mud
what
butt.
is a mud butt in Harry Potter?
That's when you have diarrhea, but
In Harry Potter.
You've probably heard them called muggles before.
yeah.
But she actually has
You've
magical properties. So.
Mud butt.
Anyways.
Sorry.
He's
Anyway,
just
I
gonna
gotta
on that.
lighten things
All
up
right. Yeah.
with all of your prophecies.
Yeah.
The other one that I really like is what if Crookshanks had 8 scabbers?
Good Lord. Or just jibber jabber. That's all you're doing. You guys are just gibberish right now.
Sorry.
Come on!
Repeat your what if Scabbers had 8?
No, Crookshanks had 8.
Crookshanks.
Yeah, Crookshanks thanks Scabbers. So Peter Pettigrew never.
Oh,
comes
8 him.
back.
I thought you were saying that he would have 8 of Scabbers. I'm like,
No, it's too
I was
many.
like, what? Okay.
Peter Pettigrew
Oh,
doesn't
eat 'em.
multiply.
Right. I was like,
Come on,
what?
How many times does
Chop up that
Crookshanks
many?
go after? Yeah, well,
What?
8 pieces of scabbers. But the whole point is that he comes back and then helps
Right.
Voldemort in the end. So if
Yeah, who would
Crookshanks had
help
fought him in the 8 billion times, who would have actually helped to finish the tasks?
Like, who would have known? Who would have been dumb enough to?
Yeah, well, yeah, who'd been
much.
involved, who would have been gullible enough,
Yeah, because you would think. Yeah, you would think that like Malfoy would have been like, well, I have a family, so I'm not going to cut off my hand for you, and sacrifice that, and I don't know.
He doesn't really
Trying to
have any
come out-
lackeys that are dumb enough, or
Right.
subservient enough. Because even
Hmm.
Lucius isn't that subservient.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's good. Good question, huh? Why
Probably Mephisto.
Yeah, Mephisto confirmed, of course, every week.
Mephisto.
Well, Alex, thanks for contributing.
I contribute so bad.
He felt left out.
Yeah, I like these little weird ones though. They're kind of fun.
Well,
Okay,
keep
what
'em
else?
coming.
I got a whole list, so I
Oh, continue. If you have more, like I'm just trying to.
I don't want to steal it here. So my other favorite one that I came up with is, what if Ron got the Half-Blood Prince's potion book and basically became the darling of Slughorn, or the darling of potions over Harry? Because in that whole thing, Slughorn kind of favorites Harry for many, many, many reasons, obviously. But Ron kind of gets all left out and gets all grumpy. So what if he had kind of taken to potions? Would that have Would he have befriended, maybe some of the Slytherin house? Would he have gotten an ego about it? Not have been the plucky sidekick?
Definitely would have changed his relationship with Hermione as well. She would have been really suspect of him at that point. Like, how do you know all this stuff? Hold on.
Right, yeah. Oh, we don't believe you.
Yeah. Would that change much? Because then at that point, Harry wouldn't have his in with Slughorn either to learn about the Horcruxes.
Right.
Like, and Ron would have no reason to learn about them. He wouldn't care.
He didn't care. And, it kind of bonds Snape and Harry. Well, it doesn't bond, but it kind of creates this tension between more tension added to Snape and Harry. So if that extra tension wasn't there, would that have played out in any way, shape, or form?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, yeah. And if they didn't know about the Horcruxes, they probably would not be able to defeat Voldemort in the end. Crazy, man. It's a good one. Dark timeline.
Yeah, they just fail spectacularly. I think it's just coming up ways of Harry failing. Like, it only has, everything has to work a particular way.
It really does. And that's kind of how J.K. Rowling, like, structures her books, too, Mm-hmm. It's like, here, conveniently, we have this thing, here for you. So it's like, oh, all right, I'll allow it, I guess. It's like, I love her world so much. It's like, I don't really care. Fine. She found the book. And the book leads to, like, oh, okay. That works. Sure. Yeah. What? Yeah,
I don't see him surviving.
Right. I'm trying to think of another way for like it to go super dark, like maybe even sooner, and they just can't win for some reason.
Like as if they like way to blow up the entire thing.
Yeah. Or was there something that Voldemort could have gotten a hold of sooner, like maybe the Deathly Hallows or something that would have really screwed them over?
Well, I mean, in the first book, if Voldemort had gotten the Sorcerer's Stone in the beginning.
Yeah.
But Vision was holding on to the Mind Stone, so it's not like he can really get any of those stones. Yeah.
No.
So,
thankfully, he cannot get Infinity Stones.
I'm so sorry. This is supposed to be comedy, people. Come on.
Yeah, and yet we're looking at all the ways that we can kill Harry Potter.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Comedy meets
I love
tragedy.
the series. He's not my favorite character.
I mean, I'm all down for any timeline that kills Harry and Neville takes his place. Sign me up.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, I mean, you could have a really interesting story if Hermione is the chosen one, just because she's Muggle-born, and it would go right into Voldemort's very essence of magic.
Exactly. Yeah, she's pure Muggle-born too, so it's not like she was even half and half.
Yeah.
Oh, you would hate that.
Ooh, it would make it much worse than Harry.
Really would. That'd be kind of fun. Like, how would she become that though? I would wonder. Like, would he like come to her house and feel like realize that like she was like one of the smartest wizards of all time, and that he wouldn't like the idea that a non-magical person would be able to rise up to be the best wizard of all time? And like, no. I don't know. That would be interesting to try to kill her when she was a kid, and it rebounded.
That makes sense. I mean, and she shows very early on that she is special.
Yeah. So that'd be kind of fun. I like that idea because that would be more interesting, in my opinion.
It would change the friendship dynamic. Like, say she still becomes friends with Harry. How does that change their relationship? If she's not, oh, Harry, here's some cool information you need to do what you're doing. Right, Harry. What does Harry bring to the table if she's the chosen one?
Nothing.
Dang, I like that.
Right? I mean, she would have no need. She would kind of look at him and be like, you just go stand over in that, kind of like Alex. You just go stand in that corner over there.
Yeah. Oh man, I wonder how much hate mail we're gonna get for this episode. We hate Harry Potter.
You guys will have to tell me. I can't wait.
Woo. Oh boy. Anyways,
we have to have fans to have hate mail. Ooh.
Oh,
yeah, I know.
Touché.
I know.
So I like those what ifs. I don't know if I have any others, but those were fun. I really enjoyed those.
Well,
If anyone
there's
else
the
has
also, what if Malfoy's the chosen one just because,
I didn't
like, say
think-
his family's exactly the same and you grow up knowing that your family's, like, subservient to Voldemort and his entire sense of identification changes, too. He doesn't have that whole house pride, family pride.
So as in, like, he grows up as the chosen one being against Voldemort, even though his family... Oh.
So then his parents would have had to die. And that's what brought him to that point or not? Would it be some other
Not
reason?
necessarily. I think it's
That's
just
how
more
it'd
put in that.
Yeah, maybe his
that
parents don't
knowledge.
die because Voldemort thinks that the parents can keep him under wraps because they're his followers.
Sure. Huh. I mean, I always felt like Malfoy got kind of a bad rap, and I think that she kind of screwed up his redemption arc. Like, he did redeem himself, but not. It was more of Harry redeeming him for him than anything.
Right.
So, like, yeah, I think it would have been more interesting if that would have been dealt with. Like, hey, I
Well,
kind of recognize that my family is screwed up.
I mean, they all just kind of avoid the whole ending, and then pop back up. So
Sure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
the redemption arc is kind of
Yeah.
I mean, it's similar to that. Is you could always go down the road of, okay, so what if Harry and Malfoy became friends? And Harry actually was like, no, Ron, I think you are not a good wizard, or your family's not up to par. I think I'm going to go side with the Malfoys.
Yeah, especially if he was and his parents weren't killed and he was raised by them or by nice, aunts and uncles or something. He was like uppity. So,
Right. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. And he thinks he's, better than everybody else. And,
sure.
and maybe his parents had been killed, but the Dursleys are nice to him. And he's like, wants the nice life and to be friends with the cool kids.
And even if he's chanting to the Sorting Hat, not Slytherin, what if the Sorting Hat's like, I'm going to put you in Slytherin?
Yeah. I don't care about your opinion.
True. But I do think that the Sorting Hat did that only because he was bound with Voldemort. They had that bind. That's my guess. That has always been my takeaway from reading the books. That's why the Sorting Hat said that. I wonder if the Sorting Hat would have said that had he not been cursed.
So you think he said
with the scar
that he might put him in Slytherin because he was bound to Voldemort?
That was always my reading of it. Not right away when I first read the first book, because I had no idea that they were bound together. You don't really find that out into the second book. Yeah. So, yeah, my understanding was, maybe that's why the hat said that. It's like, hey, you do have power here, but you also have this darkness. And that darkness might have been Voldemort, not himself. But it could have been. I don't know. I don't know. Don't know how the Sorting Hat works in that way. So, guess we have to have J.K. Rowling on. I don't know. We'll see. I'll call her.
There is a fine line between Gryffindor and Slytherin. I mean, you could easily, traits do have some crossover. So
they are, yeah.
And maybe the Sorting Hat saw that some of those traits just needed to be manifested in him, and that's why they thought Slytherin. Or yes, maybe the darkness is Voldemort. I never thought of it that way.
Not that all Slytherins are necessarily evil or anything, but
right.
Yeah.
I mean, the name
Tom Riddle
alone
definitely gave him a bad rap.
Yeah, Tom kind of screwed it up for everybody.
Which, if we go back to there's no Tom, would everybody be hating on Slytherins? Maybe they'd all be hating on the Hufflepuffs.
I don't know. Salazar Slytherin wasn't a great guy either. He was a purist. So
fine.
Yeah. Anyways, this is fun. So I enjoyed this.
Speaking of crossover, I heard crossover in there, and I'm thinking, let's crossover. Let's do some crossover. This will be fun.
Okay.
Harry's parents die. He becomes Batman. Boom. There we go. Batman's now a wizard.
Well, Harry is a lot like Bruce Wayne.
Exactly.
In terms of dark and brooding and all that kind of stuff.
Kind of. Without the money.
Yeah.
Until he gets it from his parents.
Exactly.
Literally everything that you guys were talking about parents dying and then people rising up and becoming powerful, all that stuff, it really did kind of sound like a Batman story. I just kept imagining Batman as a wizard.
No, you want to cross over? What if Harry, after his parents dies, becomes Star-Lord?
Oh, gets picked up by the alien spaceship. Oh, I was sticking with Batman, and the only reason why I was sticking with Batman is because in Space Jam you can see Batman and Harry Potter all in the same universe. I did it again, guys. I did it again.
Is that the new? I haven't seen the new Space Jam. I didn't want to ruin his childhood.
The first
They're
movie
both terrible.
sucked,
It's
too.
okay.
Yeah, it was terrible. You're not ruining any childhood with those movies.
No, you're not.
But
Don't
watch
watch
it because there's a lot of Harry Potter stuff in it.
There's not
No,
a lot of.
there's-
There's like
there's not.
5 seconds
There's
of Harry
enough.
Potter stuff.
Exactly. There's enough. Harry
LeBron
Potter
says he's in
stuff.
Hufflepuff. That's about it.
Yeah, that's upsetting enough for me that he was a Hufflepuff. Get out of my house.
What do you mean? We play some basketball and be Hufflepuffs together.
Oh boy.
That's
Anyway,
my LeBron
right.
James.
Well, we should probably end it there because that was all.
Wow, we did an hour? Gnarly.
But yeah, it's Harry Potter. We can talk about this all day.
Could
all day.
we? I
It's a
barely
big
said a word.
universe.
I
know
think
it went
my
well.
list is so long over here. We'd be here forever.
So there you go. Gotta have you
And
back
what if
on.
they actually just made a Harry Potter, or at least a TV show to explore the universe that wasn't just condensed to things that J.K. Rowling had to screenwrite? She actually gave access to other creators to use her universe.
Like they've done with Star Wars. Like, yeah, it'd be awesome.
Sign a deal with HBO now that they have Warner Brothers.
Mhm.
And
Just saying.
Well,
Good idea.
Before we
Yes.
go, Erica,
Yes.
why don't you pimp yourself out a little bit and let people know where they can find you, and also let just remind people of that this is a certain
a
month.
special month. Yes. I don't know why you would want to find me. I'm really actually quite boring. But my name's Erica. I hang around Hillcrest, and that's all that's exciting about me. But what's more exciting is that it's Ovarian Cancer Awareness Month. So make sure all the fabulous ladies in your life look up the symptoms. I'm actually a stage 3 ovarian cancer survivor, and the survival rate for stage 3 is 39%. Wah, wah. So
Wow.
make sure that you educate yourself and that you take this month to let all the fabulous ladies know in your life that it's very, very important, and they should get checked out and be asking their doctor. But thanks for having me, guys. This was a blast.
It was great.
Excellent. Yeah, you did a
Yes,
great
thank you.
job. Man, just
Good to have an
imagine
expert on.
if you watched the What If episode. Man.
You guy.
Anywho.
To everyone listening, be sure to stay tuned for episode 8 of What If next week. And who knows, maybe we're going to talk about another fantasy-based fandom that is based on books. I don't know what that could be. Anyway, until then, we hope you enjoyed, and we'll talk to you next time.
Frog out.
Adios, y'all.